This is a quick refresher session on PG weight sampling. Myself, Jobin Augustine. First, let us understand what is the use of PG weight sampling. PostgreSQL exposes the weight events through pgstat activity. If we query on pgstat activity, we will be getting one snapshot of the weight events of that particular moment. But if we want to understand what each session is doing, we need to keep executing the same query again and again. This is the concept of sampling, repeatedly executing and monitoring the weight events which is exposed through pgstat activity. PG weight sampling is an extension developed by Postgres professionals, one of the major contributors of Postgres from Russia, and this extension will be sampling the weight events corresponds to each of the backends. Installation of PG weight sampling is simple and straightforward. The packages are available from pgdg repository. We can use package manager to install that, or we can install using source code. After installing the package, we can add the PG weight sampling to shared preload libraries and then restart the PostgreSQL. Once the PostgreSQL restarts, we can see that the PG weight sampling collector process starts up. This is a dedicated process for sampling the weight events. At this stage, we can proceed to create the PG weight sampling extension, which provides a set of functions and views for the end users. If we consider the functionality of PG weight sampling, it provides three levels of weight event information. One is the current state of monitoring. Extension provides a view of what is happening right now, only the latest weight event for that process ID, for each process ID. And it provides a function as well as a view to collect this information. And the second is history of weight events. History for each running process. For each running process, user can see some number of recent samples depending on history size. And there also we have a function as well as a view. And the third is weight event profile. And samples are accumulated per each process and each weight event. So it's a summary information. And this is an internal in-memory hash table. So there will be slightly more history information stored than the history weight events. And this hash table is resettable. And it also provides a function as well as a view. Some important points to remember. Even though PG weight sampling is a standalone independent extension, generally users may be using it with the pgstat statements because the PG weight sampling provides query ID, and that query ID can be joined with the query ID in pgstat statements. So if you consider the general usage, we should expect both the extensions to exist in the same database. And whenever users are using both the extensions, please remember to put in a right order. pgstat statements should come first, and PG weight sampling should follow that. This is important to keep the query ID intact. There are a few parameters which controls the behavior of this extension. The first is history size. It decides the number of recent weight events kept in the history buffer. History buffer is a ring buffer and the default value is 5000. So 5000 samples, weight event samples will be kept in the ring buffer. And the history period decides how often the history is sampled. History from each of the backend process is sampled. So every 10 milliseconds by default, the collector will wake up and collect the information from the backends and fills the history buffer. And the profile period is similar to history period. The collector process will wake up in every 10 milliseconds by default, and the data, instead of storing it in history buffer, which is a ring buffer, it will be stored inside a hash table. So that will act as the summary information. So the history is kind of time series data, continuous data, but the profile is a summary information, which is a hash table, and the wait events will be incremented there. If the same wait event is detected while sampling, the wait events will be incremented in the hash table, the profile table, and the history will be overwritten. Say the by default 5000 is kept, and after that it will be overwritten. But when it comes to profile, unless you decide to reset it, it will be incremented. The wait events will be continuously incremented. And the next parameter is profile PID, which decides whether to include the process ID in the profile aggregation. By default it is true, and it is good to have. And next one is profile queries, whether to sample that only the top, consider only the top SQL top statement, or all the statements, including the child statements. By default it is top. And the next parameter is sample CPU. If true, the backend's not waiting for any event or any wait, means the process is utilizing the CPU. The CPU utilization will be sampled by default, and it is good to have. Let's see how it works. The extension adds hooks in the backends. There will be executor hooks, planner hook, process utility hook, and shared memory hooks. And all these are necessary for collecting the data and sharing the data. And here is the overall high-level architecture. The backend process will be there in Postgres, and the hooks will be added to all the backend process, and the extension will create a separate collector process. The collector will have ring buffer for the history information and hash table for the profile information. And whenever a user want to query this data, the user will be creating a backend process, and meanwhile the collector will be collecting the data from each backend process in a frequency which we specified in the parameter. By default it is 10 milliseconds, and that information will be stored in ring buffer and hash table. And when the user executes query on those provided functions and views, the backend process will be querying on this ring buffer and hash table, and that provides the data to the user. This is the high level architecture. Let's review the usage of this extension. The first is the current state view, PG wait sampling underscore current. Originally, this view was helpful because it provides the query ID. The query ID can be used to understand the statement in pgstat statement or some other extension. However, from Postgres 14 onwards, the query ID is part of pgstat activity itself. So now I would say this feature is part of Postgres itself. So we don't need to query on PG wait sampling anymore. The history information presented by PG wait sampling history is still relevant, and we can join it with the pgstat activity to understand the wait events of all the sessions currently running. It could be last few seconds. This information is similar to what pggather is collecting. The profile information presented by PG weight sampling profile is useful if we can combine that with the pgstat statement. The information from both these extensions can be joined using query ID. Every extension will have its own performance, stability, security, and maintenance overheads. Nothing is free. We are going to discuss only the performance overhead. First, the CPU overhead. There is overhead in data collection. First of all, the hooks. Hooks runs for every query execution. A system running thousands of extremely short but high frequency queries may see an effect. When profile PID is set to true, which is the default, the collector needs to track every process and their counters. And when profile queries is set to top or all, the default is top, requires the collector also to maintain the hash table indexed by query ID. And when it comes to sampling, the overhead depends on sampling frequency. Two parameters are controlling that: history period and profile period. The collector process wakes up and iterates through the proc array and collects the information and stores that in the history buffer or profile table. And in addition to this, there is concurrency control and locking, inter-process communication, and queue maintenance. There are multiple levels of overhead which affect the CPU utilization. Regarding memory, shared memory is allocated during the server startup, which is based on the number of connections and background processes. A large value of history size increases the RAM consumed by the circular buffer, which is used by the history of 8 events. And the hash table can consume significant amount of RAM in a system with millions of normalized queries. So all these depends on the type of workload the database is going to receive. Be careful about keeping big values for max connections, because it decides the memory as well as CPU overhead. Our recommendation is use it when it is really required and remove it is not in use. Thank you for watching.